I was 16 years old and looked like a young woman because I had started using my fingers from a young age. By the way, Aunt used to take me with her wherever she went, but this time when the girl was preparing to go somewhere, I refused to go with her myself. Earlier, I was small, that's why I used to go with her everywhere, but now I was older. And anyway, if I had gone with her, then who would have asked my father to cook at home? I didn't want to leave my father alone like this, and now I was good at taking care of the house. I had told Aunt that I would stay here with my father. They could stay there comfortably for as long as they wanted. Now they had also left the house happily because they were relieved that I could now live alone. My aunt's family lived in the village and she used to go there every year to meet them. Earlier, she used to take me with her, but today, for the first time, I went by myself. They had already refused to go with them. They had packed all their belongings the night before and left for the village in the morning. They had only left home an hour earlier. I heard a sad news that both of them had an accident and both of them had lost their lives. This shock was very big for me. If it is said that I was the most saddened by their death, it would not be wrong. But they did not have any children of their own. They had given me the love of parents and for me they were as important as parents. In such a situation, they were the only ones who did not consider me as a loser like the world and they also left me and went away. After their death, I became completely alone. Now even more people had started calling me a loser because everyone said that earlier I used to go with them and now when this accident happened to them, I refused to go with them. All the relatives who came to the house to regret and offer condolences would leave saying that my loser killed them. If they had not been with me, they might have been alive today, but I never understood these things people said. Life and death are the work of Allah Almighty. In such a situation, no human being interferes. Despite knowing all these things, people still talked like this. After that, I became completely alone. My father also stopped talking to me very much. He did not even eat the food prepared by me with enthusiasm. Now I also started feeling that perhaps I did not come into this world with good luck. Earlier, I used to go out of the house with someone a little, but now I have stopped leaving my house completely. My father used to bring all the household goods in the house himself. In such a situation, I neither felt the need to go out nor did I have much desire to go anywhere. I had a friend in the neighborhood, Khalida, who used to give me plates. And after this accident, Khalida stopped seeing me at all. Her family had forbidden her from seeing me. Whenever I went to her house to meet her, no one would open the door, and if someone did, they would send me back saying that Khalida was not at home. However, once or twice I would hear her speaking from inside her house. She would say that none of this was my fault. His family did not let him meet me. When I came to know about this, I also had a stone on my heart and also thought that after today I would not go to his house to meet him. After that, I had isolated myself from the whole world. I spent all my time in one house. Not even in the house, but in one room. Life was going on like this. Many people told my father to get me married and get rid of this responsibility. I also had no objection to this because I had not thought about my life and neither did I have any purpose in life. In such a situation, whatever my father asked me to do, I would silently say yes to it. When my father talked to me about a relationship, I had told him that he could do as he saw fit. I had talked to a matchmaker in my neighborhood about my relationship. I had told him that after seeing a suitable relationship, he should move forward with the matter. I already knew that my father wanted to get me married as soon as possible. He himself did not intend to keep me in his house any longer, and some people had made him do so. And some of our relatives also said that my father should get rid of this misfortune as soon as possible. I remained silent throughout the whole matter. My relative's aunt had shown me a few friends who were from a good family, but they had refused to marry me before they came home. The reason was that they believed what they had heard. Since childhood, people had given me the honor of being a scoundrel. Now everyone was aware of this. They had all started exaggerating and telling stories. In such a situation, it did not exist at all. That thing had stuck to my being in such a way that I could not separate it from myself even if I wanted to. I had to live with it for the rest of my life. Whatever people told me, whenever any good relatives started coming to our house, our relatives would talk about me like that. They would not visit our house again. All this went on for 3 months. Many relatives came, but they knew what people were saying about me. After that, they would not visit our house. Some people would not answer, while some people would flatly refuse and leave. Finally, exhausted, my relative's aunt also gave up and said to my father, she said that this way her own work will deteriorate, people will stop trusting her, who is famous for the reason that she makes good relationships. If she made my relationship by lying somewhere and later the story of my misfortune reached those people, then people will consider her guilty and after that no one will trust her and agree to a relationship. She does not want to ruin her business. She had advised her father while leaving that she will keep me in her house for the rest of her life. If she wants to get me married, then she should send me away after seeing some ordinary house and stop looking for a job equal to me because if she keeps trying like this, she will not achieve anything. People will come home and reject her and leave and no one will be ready to adopt her daughter. The aunt who is the one who made the relationship said that who is a fool after seeing her eyes. This girl took her mother's life as soon as she was born. And then the uncle and aunt who had raised her swallowed her up. Who would want to make such a girl their daughter-in-law? I was fed up with hearing people's talk, but I could do nothing but be patient, so I kept quiet. Time was passing like this. One day, when my father returned from work, he called me to his room. He said that he had arranged my marriage and that my marriage would be on the following Friday. He would simply marry me and send me away. I did not know with whom my father had arranged my marriage. He had informed me and asked me to leave his room. He had also said that he would tell me about any necessary things, so I could make a list and give them to him. I had returned to my room silently, but right now, the only thing going on in my mind was that where my father had arranged my marriage and who knows who they would be. He had not given me the right to refuse, and even if he had, I would not have refused because my father had made this decision and he had not done it. They were happy and satisfied with the decision, so I didn't want to upset them. They had already seen so many difficult situations because of me and heard the stories of people. Now I didn't want to put them through any more trials. I myself also wanted their trials to end and I could go somewhere far from this house. And now fate had given me this opportunity to reduce the burden on my father. So how could I stay behind? I silently did what my father asked me to do. The next day, my father told me that he had arranged a relationship with a friend of his who worked in his office. My father told me that 10 years ago, this man's wife had died. After that he had not married, but his family had forced him to get married and he had agreed to get married. As if this was the case, When my father came to know about this, my father talked about the relationship with him, and his family immediately agreed. Those 4 days passed like this. My father brought me the things I needed. I didn't need to go out, and then on Friday, in the presence of a few witnesses, my father got me married to an acquaintance of his. He was 15 years older than me. But I still had no objection to this relationship.